The 49ers headed down to Miami. That's right. That's where it's hot. And hopefully the Niners can find a way to trot themselves into a victory this week. I got my man John Chapman from 49ers Rush right here, and we're going to deliver the game plan right after this. What's going on, 49er faithful? Shout out to everybody out there on a Wednesday, the Faithful Wednesday Tune In Faithful. I love it because John is here and then everybody shows up. When I'm here, half of everybody shows up. John, what's going on, bro? How you doing out there?
Man, doing all right. We've got 49ers football still. It doesn't really feel like it's like real, but we still got 3 games we get to watch the team that we love. You're sitting at this 1% playoff opportunity, which you don't like, but we get to see 49ers play football, and I'm thankful for that.
I'm grateful for it as well. You know what, John? I don't know where they have us picking. Mock draft simulators have us drafting right now around that 15th spot. There's a possibility we bump up depending on how the rest of the season goes. I'm okay with mid-tier drafting at this point because there's not really a bunch of superstar-studded guys. There's a bunch of guys you really got to do your homework on this year in the NFL draft. And I think the 49ers will get their opportunity to land some really cool studs in the draft. Do you feel like we need to just go out there, take care of business, get the win on the road, which Brock Purdy plays better on the road too, by the way, statistically? Or do you feel like we need to play for that draft spot?
Man, I'm a weirdo, so I go back to the old coaching handbook. I don't give a damn. I'm winning no matter what. I do not believe in tanking. I will never endorse a tank ever. I don't believe in tanking with class. I go out to win the game. You play to win the game. You fix what is wrong in your house now, and then you get that, momentum. You go back to 2018. You trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Season's terrible. Jimmy Garoppolo goes in, wins the last 5 games, and then the next season, you ride that to the Super Bowl. You don't get the win in the Super Bowl, but momentum is a real thing that players and coaches believe in. You try to right the ship. Yeah, it might mess up your draft spot a little bit. Let the cards fall where they may. You go down swinging and you try to correct the wrongs that have been happening so that you have this momentum into the offseason.
Yeah, just a quick, I think it was the 2017 season we got him. We won the last 5 games of that season. He got hurt in 2018, and then 2019 we went to Super Bowl. Because I know people going to come at us.
I love those emails. I love those emails. John, you are wrong. I know.
Shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew, man. They are out there early. 49ers_throwback, always in the building early. Jax Knox, hey Wayne, John, and Faithful. Let's have a great show. Playoffs, here we come. Know it just sounds good. Yeah, playoffs 2025. Hopefully we'll be in there. Definitely,
Jack, so positive, man.
So positive, right? You gotta love it. My man Matthew's in the building. What's up, good Faithful, and good morning to everybody. He just had an update from the ER trip that he went to. He's dealing with some kidney stones. Brother, you are in our prayers 1000%. Nigel is in the building. Hey Faithful, happy hump day. Great show. Let's have a great show. Colin's in the building from across the waters, man. Oh man, David V63, Tanisha in the building. Finally, I see my boy Kali in the building. What's going on? Miss Debbie's in the building. Hey there, Wayne and John. How's everyone doing on this wonderful Wednesday? Positive thinking leads to a better day. Hit that like button. John, we got the crew in here, and I'm ready to have a good show. Listen, the 49ers put out a lot of news yesterday. Well, a lot of roster updates, not much news. And let's talk about some of these roster moves. All right, we got the waiving of Ambry Thomas, cornerback Ambry Thomas. Now, the 49ers did use a roster spot on him and then put him on the IR, and they decided not to bring him back. They decided to waive him off the IR. Let's start there. And did the Niners make a mistake?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Misuse of roster management. I've said for the past several weeks, I think that the biggest issue currently with the 49ers is talent evaluation. I don't think it's play calling. I don't think it's scheme. I don't think it's any of those things. I think it's mismanagement and not being able to recognize talent. You cut Samuel Womack from your initial 53-man roster to save a spot for Ambry Thomas to return. That was the whole plan. So he's on the initial 53. You put him on IR. Now he's back healthy. I don't think that Ambry Thomas was ever a scheme fit. He just lacks the physicality to play outside corner in this scheme, which is the same scheme we've had for 8 years. So I don't think it was a great pick. And I don't think it was a great fit. That was evidence in the play since he's been here. He doesn't like to tackle. Him and Ahkello Witherspoon just don't fit this. But you got rid of Samuel Womack, who's a top 20 corner in the NFL all year for the Colts. Like, he is balling out. He has more pass breakups than anybody we have. I mean, he's played very, very well. And so it's very frustrating that you could have brought him off IR. He said he's been collecting dust. And, you know, in the post Devondre Campbell quit world, get these cancers the hell out of the locker room. Team first or get the hell out. And I love that they just said go, because I did not want to go through another offseason with this dude on the team. It's just not a fit. Get him, let him go. Let him go somewhere else.
Yeah, man, very well said. I mean, like, and you know, I feel like the only games he played well against was the Rams, which is the team that the 49ers couldn't beat this year. Possibly he would have been out there and found a way to make a play against the Rams. But you know what? He didn't get the opportunity this season. Was dealing with the injuries. I do agree with John. You know, once you started to see him set in, he's more of a press man guy. They're forcing them. And this is when we were playing zone. So the Niners used to be a big zone team. So I got to do a little pushback, because now it seems like we're going back to being a man-to-man team, which I feel like
third downs anyway, yeah.
At least on third downs, which is, I feel like, which would have been his strength. It's a possibility he could have gave us a little bit of help out there, unfortunately. But again, only when he's playing up close press. When he's playing off, he's lost in the sauce. He gets beat on double moves every single time. Just wasn't a good fit, like John said. Very well said. But I do want to push back a little bit on Samuel Womack too, who I also thought wasn't a good fit for the way that the Niners were trying to use him. And that's why I say mismanagement of the talent, right? You draft a guy, he's a talented guy, then you force him to play a spot that he's not comfortable playing. You put him in the nickelback spot. He struggled at the nickelback, and we never used him outside, which is where his strength was. I kept saying that from day one when we drafted him. Same thing with Darrell Luter Jr. These are outside guys. Let them play outside. But when you force him to go inside, and I'm hoping this doesn't mess up a little bit of Renardo Green's style, because he's an outside guy, not an inside guy, whereas Diamador Lenore could do both. I'm hoping this doesn't mess those guys up mentally. So with Womack, I just feel like we didn't use him right. And you're right. He's balling. Shout out to Womack.
Guess who was the nickel coach? That
I don't want to guess, because I know the answer. I knew it was
Last
Nick.
year, they refused to let him play inside. Guess who the DC was? Steve Wilkes forced him to play outside only. That's the only place he lined up all year last year, and was a studded special teams. They pulled up. They put in Darrell Luter in the Super Bowl. We know what happened on special teams with that. Same spot Womack would have been in. Then this year, training camp, they start playing him in nickel again. Once Wilkes is gone and Sorensen's back in there, doesn't work out. He goes to the Colts. What's he got? 14 starts as outside corner and is a top 20 corner now. Like, so yeah, you're right. Misappropriation, like misusing, whatever. Niners missed. And so whenever you have a very clear, distinct miss with Ambry Thomas on the roster, and you can see somebody flourish and be a starting, caliber guy on a rookie contract elsewhere, it's just so frustrating. He was in your house. He was in your building for 3 years, and you didn't use him correctly, and you let him go, and you see, we were wrong the entire time. But hey, at least we had Ambry Thomas on IR all year.
Which makes no sense. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, I get why not to use him, but then leave him on the IR for the rest of the year. Like, it's not like you needed to use an IR spot for somebody else. You get plenty of them. You just can't bring certain players back.
Well, he's not good. Like, you should have moved on anyway. He was terrible in trading camp.
Yeah, but you didn't have to move on from him with 3 weeks to go in the season. You could have just walked away from him.
And see, that's why I said the post Devondre Campbell world. Like, I think they're like, look, dude, this guy is not a foundational piece to who we are long term. He's already starting to, speak up and all this stuff on social media. Let's get rid of this crap.
Ambry Thomas started to speak up. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
He put it out like 3 days ago. I'm over here just collecting dust.
Okay.
And John Lynch was just like, you know what? Brush your shoulders off.
Okay. I got you.
And so, yeah, move on. We don't need you. Like, you're not a player. You're not a projected starter. Correct. You're a depth piece, maybe. and they took a risk on you, and they kept you. They drafted you in the 3rd round, another 3rd round miss. Speaking of Nick Bonito, good Lord, lead the NFL.
I don't want to have that recollection of
Wayne was right. Wayne was right.
That was the one we needed.
Wayne was right.
There's certain edge talents that I feel like that would fit us. It's the opposite of Nick Bosa. So I wanted Chop Robinson. Speaking of Chop Robinson, we play him this week. Shit. I mean, shoot. Are we 10 minutes in? We can say shit now. Bro. At least we don't got to play Benito. I mean, if we went to the Super Bowl somehow, we might get a chance to face him, but we ain't got to worry about Denver. But now we got to play Chop. Pork chop. So, look, let's talk about the signings. Offensive lineman Austin Pleasant and linebacker Chandler Wooten. They signed to the practice squad now. Let us know a little bit about these guys and how you feel about the signings. And what are your thoughts, man? Because it sounds like there's not going to be Trent Williams. There's not going to be a Jalen Moore. It's going to be between Sebastian Gutierrez or Austin Pleasant, who will be starting left tackle for the Niners.
Yeah, that's terrifying, man. So, I mean, you can move some pieces around, but you're starting to get into the place where it's like, all right, let's get new faces into the building. Let's see if these are guys that can compete in our system for next year, be part of our 90-man roster next year in the NFL futures contract. So right now it's just dartboard time, and you're going to see a lot of shuffling on the back end of the roster. It's kind of like, hey, come in for a 2-week trial. We'll see what we got with you, and if we want to bring you back, that's the whole idea. Do you fit what we do? Are you a personality we can work with and try to build around to get you, keep you long-term? Because right now you got 53-man roster plus the 16-man practice squad. You're about to jump to 90. So you're just taking flyers on different stuff. I don't think Chandler Wooten's going to start for us, but man, we are devoid of talent at the tackle position with all the injuries. And obviously you need a linebacker because you had one quit and you suspended them and all that stuff. But you also got injuries outside of that. I mean, you saw DFF played hurt. Got to give him credit. I'm not a DFF guy. Tough as nails. That's incredible. D Winters played hurt. Had to stay out there on special teams even after the injury because Devondre Campbell and his quit and self went out there. So you need bodies. Curtis Robinson, Walter Payton nominee man of the year, injured. He ain't out there.
IR.
Tatum Bethune, hey, buddy, we might get to see you finally. We'll see.
I mean, why not? I mean, at this point, you need to evaluate the talent that you drafted, and you can decide if you're going to rock with these guys or not. Do you see Bethune, who was a draft pick, 7th round for the 49ers, do you see him getting snaps over the veteran Chandler Wooten that they picked up?
I'll tell you this. I like Tatum Bethune. He has a strength. Like, what does this guy do, right? Run defense. He's great. What is he not good at? Why did he fall so late in the draft? He can't play in space to save his life. One of the worst special teams players we've had all year. Can't play in space. So you mean to tell me his first game he's going to play in and actually get snaps is against Miami, one of the fastest roster in the NFL? That's like worst case scenario for Tatum. So I would prefer Chandler Wooten. Just let Tatum season a little bit. Maybe put them out there at 3 linebacker sets whenever they're in 12 personnel or 21 personnel. But Tatum Bethune gets his first game against Miami. It's just like, oh man, maybe he surprises and you give him a shot, but that's like the worst game script you could have for a player. But to be fair, Nick Sorensen is great at putting players in positions where they cannot be successful. So it's kind of on par with what we've done defensively all year.
So Avatar asked, was Bethune healthy? And just to update you, he has an opportunity. He is on the IR. There's a possibility that he can be called up from the IR. He got placed on the IR in week 11 in the game against Seattle, the game we lost to Seattle. So there is a possibility that he can return from the IR this week against the Miami Dolphins. So we'll see what happens and how practice goes for the kid and stuff like that. But is he healthy? We have no idea at this point. But this is his opportunity to, show and prove, man. You want to make it in the big leagues.
It's been 5 weeks.
It's been 5 weeks, right? They haven't opened up the practice window for him or anything like that. But
we would find that out
tomorrow.
Today.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, today's Wednesday. That's right. Yep. I forgot we're live. So, yeah, we'll find that out today for sure. So, thanks for asking that question, Avatar. Appreciate you. So those are the roster moves. We got any other roster moves going on with the 49ers? Let's talk about Dre Greenlaw. I believe the word on the street is that Dre Greenlaw is going to play in this. It was expected to play in this game. Before we get to Greenlaw, they did place tight end Mason Pline to the practice squad IR list. So there's a list where players from the practice squad go to the IR as well, correct?
Yeah, because that opens up the spot to get the offensive lineman there
to the practice squad.
So it opens up a spot. They like Mason Pline. I said from the beginning, this guy needs to learn football. Hasn't played a lot of football, but he's got the build. He's got the skill set.
Just throw it up to him. Jesus Christmas.
Time. And shoot, if we want to stick with tight ends, also outside of 49ers news, another guy, Cameron Latu, got released again from a practice squad.
From the
Browns. So, man, third-round picks. It's rough out there on these streets. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the Niners need to trade out of the third round and possibly not draft any more third-round picks.
But we got freaking Fred Warner and Dominique Pudi. We got those two.
That's true. That is true.
Keep swinging.
That is true. You know what it is? It's the compensatory picks that they swing with. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't care about those picks. They're just going to take a high fly. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, it wasn't our pick. They do make sure that they hit on their pick, though. Like, their pick.
That is true. That's very true.
It's something kind of weird but crazy. Let's talk about Dre Greenlaw. He is expected to play against the Dolphins. Dre Greenlaw made a comment out there, and he said, John, that he felt that the team is not playing with enough heart. And I just want to get your take on it, and how do you agree? Do you disagree? How do you feel about that?
And 100% agree. You ascribe certain personalities and leaders. Like, he's your regulator. Regulators, right?
Own up.
There we go. like that's who he is. And so whenever you lost him, and then that changed everything. Well, you go to the offensive side. Juwan Jennings missing sometimes. That hurt a little bit. Trent missing times. That hurt a little bit. We didn't have the heart out there. And
he was the heart, though. So
yeah, he was everything.
Yeah.
And so once he gets out there, it starts to look right. Hufanga gets out there, starts to look right. I agree with them completely. And again, more paramount than ever, people are finally realizing how great Dre Greenlaw is and how paramount he is to this team functioning correctly. He is what drives the engine. Yeah, Fred Warner's better. He's a borderline Hall of Famer. We'll see. Hopefully he gets in. But, you've got to have Greenlaw. There's no Batman without Robin. And that's what he is to this team. And I agree. We have no heart. I remember everybody getting mad at Steve Wilkes because he didn't have enough energy on the sidelines. First, he was in the booth, whatever. You look at Nick Sorson, that dude's got pet rock personality on the sidelines. They don't give a damn. There's no inflection in his voice. So even more so the past 2 years, Dre Greenlaw has made up for that. And yeah, I mean, he's right. He's got to be priority one this offseason and get an extension done. Dre Greenlaw, you have to keep. Have to.
I feel like it's a priority 1A, 1B. With a healthy Hufanga, even with a short season, he's improved. And so, he still has brain farts in certain coverages and certain looks. But as far as stopping the run, playing around the line of scrimmage, playing single high, he's got it. And I feel like he's the best safety on this roster. And it's not a shot at Malik Mustafa, who is rising, but he's a lot of work. He's a lot of work to go. You know what I'm saying? A lot of room to grow from Malik. As far as Jair Brown, still a lot of room to grow. Not sure what the Niners are going to do there with him. I know they want to make sure that they get that pick right. But you see Hufanga out there on the football field, and it's a different game. And you saw that against the Bears, and then you saw it again the following week where the Niners defense was just on a roll. They just couldn't close out the game because the offense didn't give them enough points to work with. So that's a whole nother conversation. But Jerry Rice, Nigel says, also spoke to KMBR. We're going to talk a little bit about Jerry Rice and his comments as well. He spoke on KMBR, and he said the same thing. And I think that's the issue with this team. They are heartless. They're playing without the passion and the drive. And remember, I kept saying to you, John, Dre Greenlaw brings a different passion to this defense. Because at the end of the day, I don't think he gives two flying fucks about the other 10 players out there. He's going to go out there and do his job every single play.
Yeah, and I think it hurts, Jerry saying Kyle needs to reinvent himself and all that. It makes sense for what Jerry's saying. I understand. We all know the negatives or the drawbacks of Kyle Shanahan. We all totally understand that. And that is a very fair, legit criticism that not that I disagree with it. I just, man, you're going to surround yourself with a robot quarterback and Brock Purdy, who I like and I want to keep him, but like, what are you going to do? You have to play to your strengths. And I think Kyle is reinventing himself. And I think that's the problem. Actually.
Talk about it, though. No. Talk about it. I think you're right, because the timing of it is the problem. But he's trying. But talk about it.
And he shouldn't. Like, you got to stay with what you are.
I agree.
Stick with the run game. We only had 3 play action pass plays against the Rams. That's stupid. You only had 19 run plays. That's stupid. He's reinventing himself into a pass-heavy offense. That's not the reinvention that we need. I'm going to say, go back to who you were.
Yeah, especially when you don't have
the offensive line or the wide receivers.
You get what I'm saying? Like those options, right? Now look, how much of it though, John, is the defense predicting or for the Niners to not run that? How much of it is that the defense is looking to stop and take away the run? Because I feel like the plays that Kyle is calling are passes or runs, but then they check the passes more than the passes checking to runs.
The playbook dictates, in this look, we're going to check to a pass play. And Shanahan will allow opposing defensive coordinators to check them out of a positive play. And so that's why you're throwing the ball 30-plus times, and you're running the ball 19 times in bad weather without a true X wide receiver and 4 bad offensive linemen. That's stupid. It's asinine. It's a recipe for disaster. But Kyle says, well, the advantageous look in this numbers against this defensive front say I have to do this. And at the end of the day, I get EPA and I get all those metrics and I get them. And I subscribe to them. I research them, whatever else. But at the end of the day, I'm punching you in the mouth. That's it. That's it. Yeah, I was coming at the camera. Like, I'm hitting something. And so I'm not just going to go with, oh, well, we've got to go with this look because these numbers. No, run the ball, play action pass. It's who you are. Don't reinvent it. Go back to who you were.
Here's the issue with football, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Not too many people are allowed to do that, but I'm going to give you this problem. The issue with football is something called analytics. And the issue is that I think Kyle needs to put the goddamn computer paper down, computer tablet down, and get back to playing football. I think these numbers and statistics and analytics and all these different types of things that you hire all these brainiac people to come in and compute you this formula, I think that needs to go away with this particular team. I think that was the issue with their identity. They're relying on these papers saying, well, the numbers say we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And you got teams out there that's saying, screw analytics. We're going to play with heart. We're going to play with passion. We're going to play with fire. We're going to bust the analytics and the statistics right in the mouth. And I think that right there is what I would like to see our head coach change up just a little bit. And don't get me wrong, I understand numbers. We talk numbers every single week, John. We go over best defenses, rank this, rank that. Those are the statistics. We do it every week. We have to. But at some point, that's not always working. It's not working for the Niners this season due to whatever. So I would like to see Kyle Shanahan, if he's going to change up anything, change up that. Like, we should be able to run. We should be able to throw because they got 8 in the box. We should be able to throw because they got 6 in the box. Nah, you run. The team, the line is built for the run. Find a way inside, outside, inside, something.
And I'll say this, to piggyback on what you're saying, like the Rams dared Brock Purdy to throw deep. They dared him to. He goes 1 for 8 on deep passes with an interception with a 4.7 passer rating on deep passes. 4.7. They left the deep wide open the whole time. And instead of running the ball, play action screens, we threw the ball 8 times with the quarterback that has historically shown he can't play well in the rain. And we're going to throw the ball deep 8 times?
And 31 times?
Yeah, that's...
So 8 out of the 31 were deep when you had a running game. You had a committee you could have used. Why Brock didn't get any runs?
Yeah, and then in the fourth quarter, you're up 3 points in the fourth quarter. You ran the ball 5 times. They're down 3. They ran it 10 times.
I'm going to dismiss myself from my own show.
Sorry.
No, because now we're getting mad again because we don't understand the football. Like, we understand football, but we're not using the football knowledge. We're using numbers, data. It's not football. I mean, it's part of football, but it's not all of football.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you get the lack of creativity. That's why you get the lack of this. That's why you get the lack of that. I don't know. I'm on a rant. Call me what you want. We got our first Super Chat contribution. Shout out to my man Slick68. Man, happy holidays to you. My guy, the ball creativity, the Jimmy Polo playbook, play 49ers football. And you know what, John? I think this is driving the veteran, the retired all-pro Hall of Famers nuts. Because this is we're doing the same things over and over again every single week. That's why Jerry Rice is coming out talking about Deebo Samuel, Brock Purdy, all the rest of the team, Steve Young, same thing. And now we're going to get into the Brian Baldinger situation, and Brian Baldinger came out and said a couple of things about about Brock Purdy. And, he was all in on Brock at one point, but he doesn't see that Brock is improving in certain situations. And I don't know if you got a chance to hear his takes or see his takes. John, what are your thoughts on Baldinger's take? Because we were all in when he said that Deebo Samuel was trash. And now the faithful was like, yeah, cut Deebo. And now he's pointing out all the issues with Brock Purdy. And now the faithful is trying to fight him. So what are your thoughts on this?
No, I mean the take that he'd take Sam Darnold, is that the one that we're talking about?
I flipped Brock for Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. First off, Sam's still Sam. You look at the turnovers, they're still there. And if you're going to get Brian Flores with Sam Darnold, which is why the
I see what you're talking about.
Then sure, if I could have Sam Darnold and Brian Flores over Brock Purdy and Nick Sorensen, I'm taking that 100 times out of 100. I hate to say that. Brian Flores is I'd say a top 3 defensive mind,
hands
guaranteed,
down.
no matter how you look at it. I think it's Spags, then probably him. But no, I'm taking Brock Purdy over Sam Darnold, but the ceiling is higher. Now, again, why is Sam Darnold successful? Kevin O'Connell, man, one of the best play callers in the NFL. He's got 2 wide receivers that separate better than anybody else in the NFL, and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. What is Sam Darnold good at? Getting the ball out to his first read. That's who he's always been. Height, weight, speed, specimen, strong arm, all those things. Brock Purdy ain't those things. He's never going to be those things. But if you get Brock Purdy, we've seen him be successful for 2 seasons when you dink and dunk and let him be the distributor. We just haven't allowed him to do that this year, and he's refusing to check down continuously, holding the ball longer than almost anybody in the NFL. Like, get back to who you are. The recipe is built. Don't allow defenses to change who you are. Yeah, it might complicate, some of your reads and whatever else, but that doesn't mean you go from being a yards after catch generated offense, running the ball, to not running the ball, eliminating play action, and trying to chunk the ball deep all the time. Plus, 2 out of 3 of the last games were in inclement weather. Brock's never going to be a good quarterback in the rain. I'm sorry. His hand ain't going to grow, and he's not going to stop patting the ball so much. That's just going to continue to be a thing. So get back to what he's good at. I'm taking Brock Purdy over Sam Darnold. It's not even close. But do what his advantages have you, and he is a reader of defenses. Let him read and distribute. Stop with these 7-step drops, man. That's ignorant.
I'm just curious to why such the sudden change in the offense? Like, why? And I understand defenses are putting 6, 7, 8 in the box. I understand basically what's really going on, and I haven't heard anybody really talk about this, is the defenses have adjusted to Brock like they did Jimmy Garoppolo.
No. Well, the problem was... hold on. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, Brock, the difference between Brock and Jimmy is Brock has been a traditionally very good deep quarterback. He can throw the deep ball way better than Jimmy Garoppolo. He doesn't have a strong arm.
I understand that.
But not when it rains. And so our 2 out of 3 of the last games, the Bills game and the Rams game, that dude can't throw wet. He can't throw wet football, period.
Now that I agree with, but you got to hear what I'm saying. I'm not comparing him to Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm comparing what defensive coordinators are doing. They're forcing the quarterback to throw the ball. That's what I mean in my comparison with Jimmy Garoppolo. You make Brock drop back 30-plus times, 40-plus times. That's what they want. They're stopping to take away the run. We saw what happened with Jimmy, Jimmy's just not that guy. Now, I think Brock's a better distributor if you do the right type of football. I'm all for Brock taking the explosive plays down the field when they're there, when they're open. Take your shot. Throwing into double coverage, bad read. Those are bad. I don't care what anybody says. But for me, I don't understand why Brock is struggling with locating the check down. Like, I can't figure that out. Like, you know what I mean? And they're there. They're there. They're there on every play. Whether you get a 1 yard gain or your way. There was an Isaac Garendo swing pass. He missed and he was wide open. And I was like, or Patrick Taylor, sorry. And Patrick Taylor was wide open. He could have just threw it to the out. And Patrick Taylor, there was nobody. Dude was 9 yards off of Patrick Taylor running to get to Patrick Taylor on the route. And all he had to do was just hit him.
He ain't gonna throw it to him. Brock Purdy don't trust him.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's part of this Shanahan loyalty program. Dude, you don't throw it to Jordan Mason. You don't throw it to Patrick Taylor. You don't throw it to Eric Saubert. You don't throw it to Conley. You don't throw it to Cowling. You don't throw it to those guys. Throw it to Ronnie Bell instead. That fixed. That works. Throw it to, like, he has certain players he'll throw to.
Yeah. He's on the practice squad. 49ers throwback says, nah, you mean defenses have figured out Kyle's scheme? I disagree with that.
I don't think so.
Because in the scheme, there's a play to be made.
The film shows there's so many plays to be made.
So
the film shows it's there. And
I know,
you saw it with the Bears. You saw it with the Bears.
Right. Not everybody is able to watch the film, so I understand that. But just trust us when we say there are plays. There are plays to be made in the schemes. So, yeah, sometimes Brock is just going to make the wrong read. Sometimes Brock is going to gamble. I need Brock to be more like the efficient Tom Brady-esque type of quarterback and take them deep shots when you can, opposed to the Brett Favre gunslinger deep shots. I went on a rant Monday calling him the Brady dink and dunk guy last year, and this year we totally go away from that. And I can't figure it out is what I'm trying to say. And I think my question is, I'm asking really, are the defenses taking away the dink and dunks? That's what I'm asking.
No. Oh, God, no. They're sitting there wide open. Brock refuses to throw them. He's turning the ball over. 9 turnovers in the past 5 games, and you've only gotten past 20 or more points once in that time. You've only gone over 300 yards once in that time. The dink and dunks are there. It's you are hurting the offense by putting the ball in jeopardy continuously, and that's been the issue. And so, like, protect the ball, get the ball out quick. You've got a bad offensive line. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. Even Baldy, terrible offensive line.
Terrible.
Get the ball out quick. Run the ball.
Which is what the offensive line is built for. Quick throws, running the ball. It's not built for the sustainable 7-step drops, 5 seconds of protection. It's not built for that. And
so stupid.
I got another question for you, but let's shout out to my man Mike McDaniels over on Facebook. Appreciate you and the fan, man. Why is Kyle, if it's not CMC or Debo, and this could be why he's blaming Kyle, I think, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not CMC or Debo, they don't have anything to worry about. The problem is they no longer have to sell out to stop those two. It's not rocket science, guys. You get Brock wide receivers that can actually beat man, and it's 75% completion season. What are your thoughts on that?
So I agree. So then you go spend a first-round pick on a wide receiver. Complete waste. That all he does is beat man, and you get him wide open, and you either don't throw it to him or you can't connect with him. Brock can't connect with Ricky Pearsall. Like, he was wide open on that post route, terrible pass. Wide open on a couple other routes, just it's not working. One of them should have been picked on inside slant route to Pearsall. That was just like one of the worst decisions. Like, Brock is struggling. And I know people don't want to talk about that. Brock has not played well outside of the Bears game the past month of the season. 1 good game out of 5. Like, that is a legit criticism. Now, 2 of them it rained. I understand that. But, man, we are seeing in real lifetime, Brock Purdy is not going to currently be the guy that wins it for you. That doesn't mean move off of Brock. Oh, look, right here, nuanced take. We're allowed to have those. Like, Brock should be the quarterback of the future. Is Brock going to be the guy that drives the team, forward or, just by himself? No, you need to surround him with talent. Shocker. Guess what? Patrick Mahomes hasn't scored over 30 points on offense all season. Yet here they are winning all these games. Why? You pair them with a good defense. You pair them with a good run game. It doesn't matter if you don't score 30 points. You don't have to score 30 points in the NFL to win. Patrick Mahomes hasn't done it once. I think they're at like 30 plus games in a row that they haven't scored over 30 points to Kansas City Chiefs. Yet they have 2 Super Bowls. It's not about just blowing every team out of the water offensively. It's about playing complementary football. And I think as long as we have Nick Sorensen here, that's never going to happen because he cannot call a defense on third down, fourth down, or red zone. And I think as long as you have Brock Purdy and you're trying to turn him into this deep ball enthusiast that throws the ball 30-plus times, you're operating against yourself every way, shape, and form. Offense, defense, and special teams terribly coached. That's the issue for me. With what you have, let them build off each other in a complementary, positive way instead of tear each other down. And that's what I think this coaching staff is allowing to do right now. And that's why I'm so frustrated, because it's not one thing. It's all these things working together. And Brock Purdy is a part of that currently. Should you move off him? No, you should not. Go back to what was working.
Agreed. My man Mullet in the building says McKivitz only 1 sack given up all year. Now, the 49ers offensive line has not given up a lot of sacks this year. So all around the starting guys have not given up. Jalen Moore has given up 0 sacks. Or you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that, because that's a good thing. But in overall totality, they're still giving up tons of pressures.
And Colts McKivitz among the league leaders in those.
Right. So he hasn't given up sacks, but he's given up quarterback hits. He's given up pressures, and he's forcing Brock to speed up the process a little bit quicker. All of them on the offensive line. So to me, yes, it's good not giving up the sack, but if you're still giving up the pressure, isn't it almost the same kind of?
It's messing up the offense. It's very similar to when people get upset. They're like, oh, well, Bosa's not getting the sacks. He sucks. No. Calm down with that. Just like that, giving up sacks is not the only metric that shows whether offensive lineman is good. It's not. You have 2 offensive linemen that are starter or above starter grade. That is Trent Williams and that is Dominic Pooney, and that's it. Now, is Colton McKivitz better than Jake Brendel? Yeah, anybody that would disagree with that, I would say probably doesn't watch the tape. Is Colton McKivitz better than Aaron Banks? 100% hands down. Aaron Banks, back-to-back terrible years. Maybe the worst offensive game I've ever seen from a lineman most recently. But Colton McKivitz still an issue. Is he on par with Jake Brendel and Aaron Banks? No, he's not. He is better than them. Is Colton McKivitz a starter-level right tackle in the NFL? I'll say this: right tackle is the worst position in the NFL currently. It is the least overall talented.
Agreed.
All 22 starters, offense, defense, right tackle's worst in the NFL. Is what it is. Should you move on from him? Yes, you should. Guess how many tackles the 49ers drafted last year? Zero. Guess how many tackles they drafted the year before? 0. That's stupid. Being complacent and not even taking a flyer on a guy late is absolutely just crazy. Instead, you draft 2 guards and you cut one of them. Whatever, you had 6 guards on your roster. Like, it's just, again, misappropriation of draft capital continues over and over and over again. You have to draft defensive linemen, offensive linemen. 49ers refused to do so. Pooney was kind of the anomaly. You got to draft a center. You got to draft off tackle. Have to.
Let's talk about the penalties, because somebody asked the question about the penalties. I just wanted to let everybody know that Jake Brendel, when it comes to blocking, leads the team in penalties, period. He has 8 penalties on the season. And then
that's good for him, actually. That's better. He should be a lot more. 8 for him, I'm shocked it's that low. I was thinking 15, 16.
And then Colton McKivitz is right there at number 2 at 6. Trent Williams, Pooney at 5 apiece. You got Kittle, Debo, Saubert, and Aaron Banks at 4 apiece when it comes to the penalties on the so that's the penalty breakdown. But at the end of the day, we're talking about in areas where we can improve moving forward, and it's good that they're not giving up the sacks. I mean, that's great, but at the end of the day, you still want to get better. And I think that's the goal for the San Francisco 49ers. He didn't give up this, and I'm with you. Don't become complacent because they didn't give up sacks. I don't want Aaron Banks back on this team. He doesn't belong on this team. I'd rather suit up Spencer Burford, let him play guard for the rest of his contract and figure it out, but still draft a guy, find a way to get better up front, because that's the key. And if the Niners are going to do this Purdy drop back, 7 steps, these crazy long ass bombs down the field, if we're going to do these explosive plays down the field, then let's get the offensive line. Let's get the offensive line that can sustain like the pass rush, can hold up for 4 or 5 seconds, give time for these guys. We keep talking about our guys can't get open, right? And there's not enough time.
It's both.
So that they're not getting open quick enough. And the line, I'm tired of watching film, and I'm like, damn, one more second. Too bad he didn't hold on that play, but then it would have been a flag. Like, just one more, because I can see Brock being sped up a lot in his processes, right? He's being sped up a lot, and that's why a lot of his throws are inaccurate this year. So I would like to get back to the quick throws, the thinking dunks. I miss the efficient football. I know everybody was clowning the 49ers for being an efficient team.
Who cares?
I don't. That's why we're not in the playoffs this year.
Yep.
Let that sink in. Let's get to the game plan, ladies and gentlemen. I got John Chapman here, not for one reason and one reason only, but, no one breaks down the game and sets it up better than my man John Chapman. Y'all like Baldinger. Y'all need to listen to Chapman. Chapman's got the game plan. Now, the Dolphins are our home team. They're favored by 1 point in this game. What does that mean, John? Just the fact that the Dolphins are the favorite at home.
Yeah, Vegas is starting to turn on the 49ers. We were favored almost every single game last year. I think every single game at the start of the season, every single game we were favored, but that's changed because we haven't played well. 2 6-8 teams that are on the outside looking in that are very similarly built offensively, defensively, very different. They run kind of that Baltimore, Seattle type defense now with their Weaver, their coach. So a little bit different defensive scheme that we're used to going up against, but we went up against Seattle both times this year. So we've seen this. So it's different, but I mean, the 49ers don't deserve to be favored in any game. Let's just be honest. Like, are there any quality wins that the 49ers have had this year? Maybe Seattle on that Thursday game. Maybe.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's fair.
But guess what? You look at what the Dolphins have done. They have no quality wins either. The only win against a winning opponent was against the Rams. That's it. They've beaten Jacksonville, the Patriots, Raiders, Patriots again, and Jets. Like these are 2 bad football teams. I'm just going to be very honest. These are 2
6-8 teams. Gotcha.
Yes.
The same damn team. I'm looking at the team. It's the same team. Same team offensively. Maybe they got a little bit more speed. Same team. A lot more speed. Same team defensively, basically. Probably a little bit more speed on their defense as well. But literally, like they're like the same team built all the way around with similar head coaches. So this should be interesting. All right, John, offensively, how do we attack this defense from Miami? They got some players. Now they got a couple of players that are on the IR. Like Jalen Phillips is not there. He's on the IR. But they do got Chop Robinson out there. How do we attack this defense?
Yeah, they got speed and they implement manufactured pressures, right? That's this whole kind of Mike McDonald, the head coach of the Seattle. That's what they do. So it's a 3-4 multiple look where 4 guys are coming, but you don't know which 4. Usually it's 3 plus one of the backers or edge players. That's usually what they do. So offensive line calls got to be on point. Jake Brindle, that's huge. A lot of can calls from Brock Purdy. Check to the right play because they overload so many times. They'll come out with the defense overload left, overload right. We're going to run outside zone. We're going to can. We're going to flip. We're going to do all those different things. So communication is going to be key on offense. Check to the right play. Get the ball out quick. Don't turn the ball over. Remember, this dude was coaching the linebackers, the DC for the Dolphins when Brock Purdy had that 5 interception game like against Baltimore on Christmas. So be smart, protect the ball. You'll be fine. I do think the 49ers are a better roster. I think they're a better coaching staff for the most part. You just got to operate and do your job. You don't have to change anything. You just be who you are. You have a better roster than this team does. They're a little more desperate than we are because they still have a chance to make the playoffs. We're completely out of it, which is crazy. It's actually easier to make the AFC playoffs this year than is the NFC, which is most people wouldn't have guessed that at the start of the year.
The NFC North took a run this year. Like they're on par. Like, you know what I mean? That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? You said be who we are. I think that's the issue. I don't think the 49ers know who they are. Now, we know who we want them to be. We want them to be the physical team up front, the team that's going to ground and pound the ball, mix with the inside power runs with some outside zone runs, which you can do against this team. They're not great. But if we don't execute and we don't stick to the plan, it's going to become a problem. They force Brock Purdy to throw the ball 35 plus times and we run the ball less than 20. Can we still win this game? Right now, Jalen Waddle is questionable from their offense, so we'll get into the offense.
I don't
in a little
think he's
bit, but
playing.
Yeah, there's a possibility. Yeah, but he is listed. He's listed questionable as now. All right, so John, how do we how do we become who we are? Like that's the issue with the 49ers. Like, who the fuck are we?
Run the ball. Okay, start there. And then when you're not running the ball, have the threat of running the ball. Just having a running back besides or behind Brock Purdy changes the defensive reads everywhere. You go empty, bad things are coming.
Why do you think so many empty sets? I was watching the film from last week and I'm like, empty set, motion out, empty set. Why?
It's very easy to tell the coverage that a team is in when you do a 3x2 set, which almost all empty sets are. You have 3 eligibles on one side, 2 to the other side. So it's very easy to kind of sit there and diagnose, oh, they're in this coverage. With 1 motion, 2 motions, it's like, okay, this is a very easy zone call. It's a very easy man call. You can tell the safeties. You can kind of tell, are they rocking? Are they leaning? Where are their eyes? All those things. So it's easier to decipher at the start. But here's what's crazy. The linebackers makes it the easiest job in the world. The defensive ends, the defensive tackles makes it the easiest job in the world for them because they know, man, I'm all out rush the passer if I'm a D lineman, or I can straight get to my zone drops. So those hook to curls, slants, deep end breakers, all those are now a bigger degree of difficulty. Now, out routes, which Brock Purdy's favorite route in the freaking world is when in doubt, Brock Purdy out route. That's what he wants to throw all day. So whatever he could diagnose off coverage or man coverage in an empty set, he's throwing the out route to Juwan Jennings first, George Kittle second. That is his favorite thing to do. And a little bit of Pearsall, which we get back to more of that.
A little bit of Pearsall.
Never to Debo, almost never to Debo. But like that's Brock gets what Brock wants. And so Shanahan said, well, Brock actually prefers the empty sets. That's why we do them. That's stupid as hell. Get under center, play action pass, screen, quick dink and dunk, force the checkdowns. That is a positive thing with the players we have on this roster, including Isaac Guerrero. Allow that to do things. And whenever they gamble, you can take your shots deep if they're open, but don't make them your primary read. Stick to who you are, run the ball 30 plus times. Give me 9 play action passes. Give me 5+ screens. You'd win this game easily.
Let's flip the script to the defensive side. Man, they got some threats, man. They got some threats, and I think they're sleeper players, tight end Jonnu Smith, but you know, that's on me. How the Niners against top tier tight ends in the league. They've been decent against the lower tier tight ends, but now you're going to be playing with a pass catching option tight end. What are your thoughts? And how do we stop this offense, high-powered offense? We've done it before. How do we do it again?
Yeah, you got to be smart and just not have breaks. And so you do not run man coverage against this defense ever. But Nick Swartz is going to. They are all-out speed, which has been our Achilles heel. You go back to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison did play against us. Who's their super fast guy that they had? Osgood or whatever. It wasn't Osgood. Naylor. Yeah.
Oh, Naylor. Yeah, Naylor. Yep.
Again, like speed has killed us on the outside. Our corners are great, but they're physical corners that are used to bodying bigger wide receivers. That's how we built this team. Well, if you don't roll safety help over the top, you're in major trouble. Diamador Lenore is the only guy that doesn't need help over the top. Renardo Green's got the speed to keep up with a lot of them, but you have to roll safety help over Charvarius Ward, who's played relatively well, but not deep. Like that's not who he's ever been. So like, it don't matter if you go 3 years ago, Ward, 2 years ago, Ward. Speed's never been part of his game. He's a physical corner, which is great. You have to either you roll cover 6 to his side, or you're in quarters, or you're in cover 2. If you're doing like that's what you got to do. If you're out there cover 3 or man, which is our 2 most prominent formation defensive alignments, man, you are asking for a recipe of disaster. And I don't even think Jalen Waddle plays, which helps us a lot. But they still got speed everywhere. And
Yeah,
so
because they drafted Malik Washington, so they got the rookie wide receiver that's got speed. They've got guys out there. Like this is this is going to be a game. This is
there's
going to
gonna
be a
be,
game.
but there's gonna be big plays for them. The
I think my
question
thing is
is,
limiting those plays, though,
yes,
right? Like, how do
yes,
you limit the explosives?
quarters, cover 6, cover 2. That should be your base. It's not going to be.
Make sure there's help out there for these corners. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. Tyreek Hill really hasn't been as explosive as he normally has been. 67 receptions, 104 off of 104 targets. He does have 805 yards on the season, 5 touchdowns.
You know what I did?
Don't let this be the game, please.
I looked up. I compared Ayuk and Debo's stats compared to Tyreek's.
Mm-hmm.
He's better than both.
He is. I mean,
and he's having a down year, but
he's having
still,
a down year. Yeah.
It's like, I did it because I hate myself, and
Yeah.
I hated it the entire time. But whenever I saw the results, I was like,
How crazy is that? Jonnu Smith is their second leading receiver.
Yeah, and he's playing the George Kittle role, and it's working because you get this athletic, good blocker, inline tight end guy like Jonnu Smith. You're going to get matchups against linebackers and safeties, and that's exactly what happened last week with George Kittle against safeties and linebackers, but we couldn't hit him deep multiple times. Tua, not the best quarterback, but he's accurate as hell. And so
and he's efficient.
He's very efficient, and they run their scheme. They know who they are, and they do it, but their offense has been bad this year. Let's just be very, very honest.
It's been the same. I feel like their offense is our offense. Like, it's the same. Like, they get production. They're struggling to win. They're struggling to score. We're struggling to score. We're struggling to win. Like, you're going to get a battle of the same bad teams. You said that at the very beginning. Very beginning. The question is, which worst team comes out on top?
Both teams could win this game. I think if both teams played to their utmost ability, the 49ers win. But, man, Devin A-Chain scares the living bejesus out of me on those screenplays.
Yeah.
Like, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
That is terrifying. If you told me we have Malik Mustafa, Hufanga, we have Greenlaw, Winters, and Fred Warner, we have all those guys the whole game, I feel a lot better. But I'm not sure we're going to. And so
I just want to put this out there that Devon Achane has 6 receiving touchdowns on the season. 6 receiving touchdowns. He's been targeted 78 times and caught 70 receptions. And 6 receiving touchdowns. It's total of 10 on the year. So that means 4 from rushing. And he has, oh my gosh, he has 509 receiving yards.
Might be faster than Tyreek, man.
Damn.
Might be faster than Tyreek.
It's going to be a tough game. I'm all in for it. The weather should be nice. Brock should play a lot better. That's the key.
We got a chance. If it's not raining,
yeah,
that's
how I look at it.
49ers got a chance. I truly do believe that.
6 motherfucking receiving touchdowns for a running back. I mean, we know what that's like. We used to have a running back that did that. But damn. I'm trying to tell you, they built like us. Can they?
Yeah.
The thing is, can we be who we are so we could take advantage of who they are? And usually that's what Kyle does. Different season, different players, different outcome possibly.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? They go and draft Jalen Wright, the fastest running back in this draft.
Yep.
And they got Mostert. They just said speed. We'll take them all. We'll Pokemon, catch all the fast ones, and we'll turn them loose. So, yeah.
How much are you looking for this defense as far as like Tua, because he will take off and run, containment? How much
he
of that's
ain't running
be
against Dre Greenlaw. They are having meetings. Look, Tua, don't scramble. He ain't going to scramble because if he takes 2 steps to Dre Greenlaw, it's over, and nobody wants to see that. But Dre Greenlaw is waiting to hit a quarterback. I'm telling you that right now. Dre Greenlaw is waiting. I do not want to see. I do not want to see Tua get hit by Dre Greenlaw. Please don't do that. Nobody wants to see that. Don't do that, Tua. If I'm Tua's coach, I'm like, look, dude, you throw the damn ball away every chance you can.
Going in that area. Right.
We ain't doing quarterback sneaks. We ain't doing any of that stuff. You're throwing the damn ball, and you get the ball out of your hands this week.
I mean more like if the 49ers are playing coverage down the field and he happens to slip open through the pocket, he'll take off and run for a few yards. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
I know he
thinking.
does it. Don't do that this week, Tua. Nobody want to see that.
No, please.
I don't wanna
I
see
get where
that.
you go. I get where you're going. John, how confident are you in the Niners pulling out this victory?
Confident. I think the Niners are going to win this game. I think the Niners win this game and the Cardinals game. I think we go 2-1 down the stretch. I think they're the better team. Now, can you limit how many times you put your guys in the worst coverage possibilities? Can you run the ball 30 plus times? Those are things that are in the coaching, that are in the hands of the coaches. And if I knew we were going to run the ball 30 plus times and we're not going to do our cover 3 and man cover 1 and all that stuff, then we get it. And I'm right there with Rusty. I would say a 60% confidence rating that the 49ers will win this game. But every time I think about special teams, Nick Sorensen, or just throwing the ball 30 plus times for the 49ers, I'm going to say 60% confidence level.
And my man Conley asked you a question. He says, didn't Brock connect with Chris Conley in the playoffs last year?
He sure did. Conley was known for playing all of the wide receiver positions and being great at all of them. He's struggled this year. He's had a lot of mistakes. He's run the wrong routes a handful of times, too.
How does this happen is what I'm saying.
He's doing too much. They got him doing too much. He's backing up all 3 of the wide receiver spots.
X, Y, and a Z.
And so that's the issue. And so, yeah, he did connect with Conley, and I like Conley, but there's been a lot of miscommunications, and a lot of them were on Brock, like that Debo tackling Isaac Guerrero. Brock never called motion. Debo should have been smart and not ran over the ball carrier, but there's mistakes happening. We have one of the most complex offenses in the NFL. So does
Brock,
Miami.
Why did Debo go into motion if Brock didn't call the motion?
Well, that's the thing. So you're supposed to have the pre-snap motion for the jet sweep and then hand it off after Brock clears the tackle. So you lift the leg or you do the little nod over. He never called for it. So for Debo, man, I've got to do this motion. So then he goes in motion, but now the timing's off, and he should have been smarter about it and just cut up field. But instead, he tackled Isaac Guerrero. But yeah, that was on Brock Purdy, in my personal opinion.
Wow.
And you see Brock's body language afterwards.
Like, my bad. Yeah.
Not my bad. Like, he turned to the side, Patrick Bateman, and started cussing himself out. Like, you could tell, like, he was pretty pissed. But
yeah, dang. Like, it's just weird. Like, we just get these little crazy brain farts for guys, It's just weird.
Yeah. And people want Purdy to do more at the line of scrimmage, and I'm just like, no.
I didn't think about that. No. Didn't think about that. Well, John, I think the victory is going to be in our favor. I know we're going to be on the road. I will say that Brock plays a lot better on the road, and he plays a lot better when the weather is nice. And so those two things, I think, favor the 49ers. Think Kyle Shanahan's going to have his game plan. Hopefully he listens to the John Chapman 49ers rush game plan, and the 49ers stick to the goddamn game plan. And if they can do that, I think they'll be victorious, John. It's been great having you here. Send us home.
Man, I'll say this. We get to see the Niners. We get to see our rookies. We get to see so much of what we love about this game. Now, playoffs, whatever. If you want to go down that rabbit hole and all the percentages, that's cool. But we're faithful. We stick with our team. And you get to play spoiler. You beat the Dolphins. You send them home. Their season's over. It's over. And I'm fine with that. I am not a tank guy. I want to build on positivity and create momentum, trending to positive. We need positive anything at this moment. So the 49ers, go handle your business, take care of it. Let's get that dub. Let's improve our team, our morale, all those things, and start trending in the right direction. Until next time, y'all are the best. Peace out and stay strong, faithful.